Here's a story that was told to me by Rabbi Mendel Futafas, and it was that he heard in Siberia. He was in Siberia for like 5 years or 7 years, I forget how long, but at hard labor. And when he was there, they heard a lot of stories from a lot of different people. So there was one person that he met there, that a Jew, a lot of Jews were sent into Siberia, a lot of them died there. And this Jew said that he had been a Bundist. A Bundist. The Bund was a socialist Jewish movement, especially in Russia. Bund means the group. The a socialist movement which preceded communism, but it was all purely Jewish. It was all Jewish. The Jews were very, every Jew has in the essence of a soul that he wants to, to change the world somehow or other. Maybe they give up on the idea, but it's there. So the Bundists were there. What are the Bundists? The Bundists, they were, first of all, very anti-religion. Because to them, religion is just, basically like the what is it? Marx said that it's the opiate of the masses. It just calms people down, that people are satisfied with their lot, and that they don't want to fight against, the injustices of materialism and capitalism. So they were against God and against religion, against the Torah. Against the Torah. But they were also very for work. Work. They went to work. They used to go to work. Okay, so this person says that I was a Bundist. He was a Bundist. And then afterwards, as soon as communism took over, so all the Jews, they became communists. Bundism didn't exist anymore. They became communists. I guess anyone who did adhere to Buddhism, Bundist, they were killed. They just wiped out millions of people in order to strengthen the, communism. But communism was going to fix the whole world. So anybody that didn't agree with communism was like a disease. You got to get killing them was just like taking antibiotics. Just killing. Okay, so he said when I became a communist. He said now He told Reb Mendel. He said now I'm disillusioned with communism. He was put into Siberia. I'm disillusioned with. I see that it's evil, but to be a religious Jew, no way. Maybe I'll be a Zionist. Maybe Zionism is the way. Okay, so he said, but I want to tell you a story. He says to Reb Mendel, I want to tell you a story about how much we hated God and the religious people. And when I was a Bundist, I was a child, young. How much we hated. So he said, one day we were walking down the street, and we were going to work. We worked in a big flour mill. There's a huge, grinder over there. A huge mill that would grind the wheat, grind the grains of flour, the wheat, and make it into flour. A huge mill that wrote it, and that's what we did. We went there and so we were walking down with our leader. And the leader looked across the street and he saw a bunch of a Rebbe. And the way that the Reb Mendel told me, he said that the Rebbe was the Rudziner Rebbe. The Rudziner Rebbe, he was the one that says that we can wear blue on the tzitzis today. Some people agree with him. Chabad doesn't agree with it, but and a very, very holy man. And he was walking with his pupils. Now the Chassidim, they had long payas and they're all dressed in black. So this Bundist guy, he said, when I was a Bundist child, so we were walking down the street going to our job, and our leader yelled out to us, look at the little horses walking after the big horse, because they had payas, and the payas were like waving in the wind. So he said, look at the little horses going after the big horse. Guck auf das kleine Pferdlach gehen noch de große Pferd. Now the word for a horse is like an idiot. Right? Little fools going after the big fool. So we, got inspired by what our leader said, and we picked up stones and we started throwing at them. They were on the other side of the street, and throwing at them. And so the Rebbe looked at our leader and said, "Tell them to stop." And he just encouraged us to learn, to do more. and he was our leader was cursing at this Rebbe and his. So the Rebbe said to our leader, "I see that you want to die a strange death. Ich seh es, du willst eine miese Maschine. I see that you want to die a strange death." And all of us started laughing. Ah, misa machina, a strange death, a strange death. And then we kept throwing rocks, and they just ran. They ran away. And we went to the factory, and we're still repeating it over again. Misa machina, and laughing. And our leader, he turned on the grinder, this big mill, big wheel that went around. And the wheel started going, and he was saying, "Misa Machina," and everybody started laughing. And all of a sudden, the edge of his coat got caught in the mill, in the grinder, and it drew him in. So he tried to take his coat off, and he couldn't. He didn't make it. And it caught like his finger, and it drew his finger. So we ran, and we tried to stop the wheel going around, but the momentum was too great. And by the time we stopped it, our leader had been ground up, and there was blood everywhere. He was screaming blood everywhere. So we saw with our own eyes, this is the story he's telling to Rabbi Mendel, we saw with our own eyes, Misa Machina, that this rabbi gave him a curse and said, if you don't stop, you're going to die a strange death. We saw it. There's no stranger death than that. I mean, that was really bizarre. So you think everybody would be impressed, or someone would be impressed. He said, you know what we did? He said, we cleaned up the place, and we started working again. After a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, like nothing ever happened. So it had absolutely no effect on anybody. No one thought maybe there's some. So that's how opposed we were to Torah and the commandments. And the same thing we can say about the Jewish people in general, that they were taken out of Egypt, and they saw the big miracles that God did, and he smote the Egyptians, and they worshiped the golden calf. And the reason for all this is very simple, because Jews just don't know better. They don't know that there's God, and they don't feel that there's God. They don't, and even if they know it, there's nothing inspiring there, nothing. So you can't blame them in a way. On the other hand, you have to correct them. And Reb Mendel just brought it as a purpose to show that if a Jew is stubborn, stiff-necked, nothing can change it. But the other way is also true. If a Jew is stiff-necked to serve God, then nothing can change him. And that's the whole holiday of Purim. And that's what's going to bring our redemption now, that we're stubborn and we know we need Mashiach now, Yechi Melech, and that the Rebbe will take us out of this terrible exile and inspire us to be who we really are, crazy for the Creator of the universe and His commandments. Have a good day with Mashiach now, and I'll see you all, God willing, tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to finish this Sikha.